Hi. Today I'm talking about popular books that I'll never read, including both classics and non-classics. And I won't say never because if say someone gave me $1,000,000 to read one of these, I know it's impossible, but if say someone did, I probably will. But aside from that, I probably never will read these books. It's very, very unlikely that I will, so it's mostly a never. Disclaimer, just because I would never read these books, it doesn't mean that they are objectively bad. This is just based on my reading taste. And I'm trying to cover genres that I usually read because otherwise it'll be too long. But there might be a bit of a mix. To start with, I have a classic, Tess of the D'Urbervilles. I usually don't like too much misery in my books. I do like drama, and I might be interested in the basic storyline of Tess of the D'Urbervilles, but of what I know of the whole story, it's just a little bit too depressing and miserable for me. Okay, next, the 50 Shades of Grey series. Okay, I usually like romance, and I usually like romance where the hero is a billionaire, but I do not like romance where the hero acts the way Christian Grey acts. Like, it's kind of abusive, and also no disrespect to anyone who does BDSM, but it's just not my cup of tea. And also, they don't do it right anyway. I've seen many detailed reviews of this series, and I don't think I like the overall plot. Plus, I've seen many excerpts from this book, and I don't think I like the writing style of this author. Some of it's a little cringe to me. I'm not saying that it's objectively bad. I don't want to be an objective judge. It's just not for me. Okay, next is Moby Dick. I couldn't even get through the Wikipedia synopsis. I'm kind of bored, so I don't think I like the book. I usually don't like books about whales or adventure, but this is a drama, so I'm including it. And aside from me not being able to get through the synopsis, I'm usually not into books about whales or them being on a ship and an adventure. It is not my cup of tea. Okay, next is the Twilight series. So I did watch the movies when I was younger, and I did kind of like the movies, but I'm not a fan of vampire love stories, even though I like romance. When I was a teenager, I wasn't as averse to the vampire romance, but now I'm not into the vampire romance. And also, from what I see of the writing, it's also not my cup of tea. And I also don't like some of the plot elements in the book. And not a fan of the large age gap, because Edward is technically like 100 plus, 100 something, and so I'm not a fan of that. Okay, the next one is another Thomas Hardy, Jude the Obscure. Much like Tess of the D'Urbervilles, it's a little too miserable and depressing for me. And I heard it's the male version of Tess of the D'Urbervilles, and even worse. So I don't think I would like the book. Overall, I think Thomas Hardy books might be a little too depressing and miserable for me. But I do have the Far From the Madding Crowd and Mayor of Casterbridge, because I heard those two, at least from what I know of them, they're not as miserable. And I have read the abridged version of the Mayor of Casterbridge, and I was okay with everything that happens there, so I am willing to give the full book a shot. So if you know any other Thomas Hardy novel that isn't as depressing or miserable, let me know in the comments down below. The next one is the After series. Okay, this one, my main problem is that the couple begins by cheating. I usually do not like any couple that begins by cheating. It just turns me off the whole relationship. There are exceptions to the rule, but not this one. Also, the relationship is also problematic anyways. Like, it's kind of toxic. From what I know of the whole story, I just don't like their relationship dynamic. But I'm including this here because I do read romance. Okay, the next one is the Lord of the Rings series. So I do like some of the plot elements and the themes, like the drama, the friendship, and the mystery, the fantasy. But there's a little bit too much action an adventure for my liking. Also, I heard that the book reads like a history book rather than a storybook, and that there's too much description. I do not like too much description. And I heard the writing is a little too dense, which isn't my cup of tea. Okay, the next one is a Song of Ice and Fire series. I did catch glimpses of the TV show Game of Thrones because my dad binge watched it on my recommendation. I knew he would like it. Now, usually I like drama and I would like the kind of royal setting where they're fighting over the throne. But this one has too much action and gore for my taste. And also, I heard that too many characters die. I'm not spoiling who dies, but I just heard there are too many characters who die, and that I can't even safely root for any protagonist because I don't know if they're going to die or not. I'm not saying there's anything objectively wrong with that, it's just not what I like. Last but not least is the Hunger Games series. So this is on the list because, like I said, I do like drama and I do think the concept is interesting, but it just has too much gore and action for my taste. And while I think the concept is interesting, where they have the Hunger Games and it's a dystopian world, part of me also is uncomfortable with the whole all these children dying in this competition thing. And also, I don't think I'm a fan of the main couple, Katniss and Peeta. Okay, those are all the books I have for now. Maybe there will be a part 2 if I can think of other books, other popular books that I'll never read. But for now, these are my list. Let me know in the comments down below which popular books you will never read and why. I would love to hear those. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.